hands off her. Keep your hands off my baby. Keep your hands off her. Keep your big mitts down. Keep your hands off her. Did you hear what I said? Boy, she don't belong to you. She's long and tall. She's built up straight. Long and tall. She's built up straight. Long and tall. She's built up straight. She's got everything it takes. Keep your hands off her. Keep your hands off my baby. Keep your hands off her. Keep your big mitts down. Keep your hands off her. Did you hear what I said? Boy, she don't belong to you. Walking down the street. Keep your hands off her. Keep your big mitts down. Keep your hands off her. Keep your hands off my baby. Keep your hands off her. Did you hear what I say? Boy, she don't belong to you. You can look her up, and you can look her down. You can look her up, you can look her down. But the day I'm gonna catch you with her son, that's the day you're going to die. Keep your hands off her, keep your hands off my baby. Keep your hands off her, keep your big mitts down. Keep your hands off her. Did you hear what I say? Boy, she don't belong to you. Hi friends, welcome to my lesson on Keep Your Hands Off Her by Huddie Ledbetter, and inspired by the version of Big Bill Broonzy. So let's start with the tuning. We're in standard tuning and the capo is in the 2nd fret. I should be on pitch. Okay, first let's come to the intro, and this starts with 3 notes on the A string. 2nd fret, 3rd fret and 4th fret, and this leads into this D7th shape, which is just like a normal C7th but moved up 2 frets to the 3rd position. And here we have this, what I call a double alternating bass. So this is the bass movement. We have to bring the ring finger from A string to the E string in 5th fret, and so we play A string, D string and E string, D string. Okay? And then we switch to this D7th shape, which is G string in the 5th fret, B string 3rd and E string 2nd fret. And here we have this thumb movement, so D string and G string. And because we don't play the G string so often with a thumb, I marked all the G string thumb notes with a T in my tablature. Okay, so from the beginning. And then we come to bars in G, we have this alternating bass, and on top of this alternating bass we have a little melody which is the melody begins on the second bass with this G note and then open and G again. The next bar begins with this G again, and then we have the third fret of the G string, then open B and open E. From the beginning of the G chord, sounds like that. And now from the beginning of the intro, okay, the next 4 bars are almost the same as the first 4 bars, except in bar number 5 I left the last note out, and you could play bar number 1 just the same. That might make the transition a little easier, and sound-wise there's not much of a difference. And there's bar number 8 where we have 2 notes which we didn't have in bar number 4. And these are these 2 bass notes, open A string and second fret of the A string. And these lead into the C chord with the pinky on the third fret of the first string. I'm sorry. And now we have this G position here, and we start with a triplet. This is a pull-off from 3 to 0 on the E string and the third fret of the G string. Now we come to this E7th position, then A7th, and a D13th, which is the 5th fret of the G string, and 7 on B and E string. And the last 2 bars are the same as bar number 4. Okay, let's now play from bar number 9. And now the whole intro. Okay, this is the intro of Keep Your Hands Off Her. Alright, let's have a look at solo number 1. We have a new D7th shape. This is D string 4, G string 5, and B string 3rd fret. An additional note, which is the 5th fret of the B string played with the pinky. And here we have a syncopated note, which is a bended 5th fret of the B string. Then we release the bending, play the 5th fret again, and then we release the pinky to play the 3rd fret of the B string. come to a little run which starts with a slide from 3 to 5 on the D string, and here we have this G arpeggio like this, but I don't let the notes ring but separate them. So this is 5 on the D string and then 4 on the G string and 3 on the B string. Then we have 6, 5, 4 and 3 on the B string. Sounds like that. 6, 5, 4, 3. Then we have 4, 5 and 6 on the G string and come back to the 3rd fret of the B string. And the last note of this little melody is the 4th fret of the G string, and this is followed by a mute chop. So from the beginning. Bar number 5 and 6 are the same as bar number 1 and 2. And then we have this little G shape here. This is 4th fret of the G string and 3rd fret of B string and E string. Then we play a little transition note and come to this G shape. This is like a D, but moved up to the 7th position. So this is then a transition note again. These transition notes should be played very discreetly. Then we have these 3 harmonics in the 12th fret and a harmonic in the 7th fret of the G string. This is followed by a mute chop. So from bar number 5. In bar number 9 we start with this C7 shape, which is a bar chord over 3, over the 3rd fret and 5th fret of D string and B string. These are 2 additional notes here played by the pinky on the 5th and 6th fret of the 1st string. And then we have to stretch the hand a little for this G shape, which is low E string in the 3rd fret and a high E string in the 7th fret. And we pull the finger a little back to the 6th fret and come back to the 7th. And then I use this E7th shape, which is like a B7th without the pinky, moved up to the 6th position. Then we have the same ending as in the intro. So from bar number 9. Okay, and the whole solo. Okay, solo number 2. This begins with this D7th chord in the 5th position, which is like the C7 that we used before, but this time in the 5th position. And we have this melody on top. So the pinky has to play 8, 7 and 8 of the first string. And then we have this little run on the A string, 5, 7 and 9. This is what we know from intro, and then we play the same thing again. And this time we have this ending. This is the same G arpeggio that we already know from solo number 1. And then the 3rd fret on the E string, then 5 and 6. Then we come to a G shape, which is the same as this D chord, moved up to the 7th fret. And then we have this chord, 10th fret of the A string, the G string and the E string. So from the beginning. Okay, after this G7th here in the 10th fret, we just leave the pinky where it was and add the first finger to the 8th fret of the low E string, and then we come to the 8th fret on the 1st string as well. And now we have 4th fret of the A string and the 3rd fret and 5th fret of the 1st string, a little transition note, and the rest is more or less the same that we know from solo number 1. Okay, then let's play the whole solo number 2. Okay, in the final solo we use these two D7th chord shapes. We already know this one, but this is new. This is 7th fret of D string and B string, and the 5th fret of the G string. Again we have thumb notes on the G string, like in the intro. So we have this alternating thumb here on D and G string. And at the end of these D7s, I play these cheating notes again, these transition notes that actually don't belong to the D7th, because a B note is not part of a D7th chord, but as we play them discreetly, nobody's ear will be disturbed and our transition is much, much easier. Then we have this C shape here and come back to the D shape. Now we have this G shape that we already used for these arpeggios, but this time we'll let the notes ring. And we have to play this. So we bring the ring finger from the 5th fret to the 4th fret, and then back again to the 5th fret, and this note needs a strong emphasis. And then we have, actually we have this run back on the D string from 5 to 4, 2 and 0. Okay, so very slowly this is. Then the same thing again. And now we come to this E diminished chord. This is 5th fret of D and B string and 3rd fret of the G string. Here we have brushes with a thumb. And this is the G again. And then we have a chop on the G7th. And now from the beginning. Now we have the same section that we played before. And now to the ending. We slide into this G chord, which is like the D chord but in the 7th fret. And then we have 8, 9, 10. And you could also use these 3 fingers for this 8, 9, 10, okay? Oh, I'm sorry. And then we have the 15th fret, and we make a glissando downwards and end with this G13th, which is the bar chord here, the 3rd fret, and then A string 5, G string 4, and the 5th fret of the B string. Okay? So the whole final solo now. Okay, let's have a short look at the verses. We start with the same D7th chord here, double alternating bass. In the next bar we add an open E string, so we get a D9th here. This is a G6, 3 on the low E string and then 5 on the D string, G string 4, B string 5. And by the way you can change the patterns to your liking. You can change the order of notes and the rhythm. If you prefer something like that, just design your own patterns. You don't have to play my stuff here. I play differently every time I play it. So the next chord is the D7th again, and if you like you could switch to this D7th or stay on the old D7th, no problem. And now we have the same thing that we played 1,000 times before, with this little approach here to the C chord, which is next. Keep your hands off, did you? And now I want to bring the attention to the bass. So we have a line in the bass, which sounds like that, okay? This works like that. Move from 3 to 2 on the E string, and then we have this E position here, and play 0 and 4 on the E string, then A7th, and again 0 and 4, this time on the A string, come back to our D7th, and the ending. Okay, now a whole verse. Keep your hands off her. Keep your hands off me, baby. Keep your hands off her. Keep your big mitts down. Keep your hands off her. Did you hear what I said, boy? She don't belong to you. Okay, that was Keep Your Hands Off Her. Hope you found it useful, and I'd be very glad if you invited me back again for another lesson. In the meantime, take care, bye bye, thanks for watching, and as always, have fun.